Bear with me. Yo, 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 yo. Thank you. Thank you for joining me at What It Do Wednesday. How's everybody doing today? I am here. So, all right, there we go. All right. Y'all know how we start this thing off. We start this thing off with prayers for everybody. First and foremost, let's start off with prayers for the 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 17 or 18-year-old that lost their life over there on 17th Street earlier yesterday, day before yesterday. That was absolutely uncalled for, and it's getting worse and worse in our streets, and we got to figure out something. Which is another reason why I'm trying to have these lives where we have people join us and come talk and all of that good stuff. So that's one of the reasons why we come here to talk. So praying for that family and everybody involved in that, including the shooter's family, because at the end of the day, when it's always involving two sets of families, everyone is affected. It affects everyone involved on both sides of the podium. So, yes, we need to say a prayer for both sides of the family, on both sides of the stick. Um, Gina, Joe Gina, you know who you are. You know why I call you Joe Gina. I love you, girl. First and foremost, let's get something straight right here, right now. I know what it's like to lose a parent. Ain't nothing like it. It's the worst thing in the world. That's number one. I don't care what you say. I've always loved you because you've always had a pure heart. You've always been the kindest, nicest person to everyone around you. And I'm so sorry you lost your mom. And I'm hoping you get through that. Miss Linda Bird Thomas, I'm so sorry for your loss. I hope that God grants you some healing on this loss and you can get through it. Praying for you heavily also. Also praying for the city residents and all the things that we got going on. Yo, we got to pray for each other heavy now because if y'all see what's going on, which I'm getting ready to talk about, which is why I'm early, so I could do a recap before I get into my special guests, because I got a couple of special guests coming through to light up the stage. But I just wanted to talk to y'all first, number one, to recap my weekend, but number two, to also talk about what's going on around us and how it's affecting us, because we got a lot of stuff that's affecting us that's also going to affect this election coming November the 4th. This is the reason why I keep getting on here trying to tell my people, listen, we got to vote, whether you believe it works, whether you believe it counts, whether whatever your thought process may be. I need you to show up regardless. I need you to get out there, get registered, get ready to vote, because we're at the end of stages here. This is the end. This is the end all be all. And I'm going to tell y'all what's happening after we get done with these prayers. But again, praying for each other, praying for everybody that's going through something, praying for everybody that's lost someone, praying for everybody that just got mental, financial, and physical things going on, praying that you get through it with all ease. With all of that being said, amen, amen. Oh, I'm sorry. Praying for the people in the prisons and behind the walls also. We hope that y'all get through what y'all going through also. Amen, amen. So now that that's over, we can recap real quick, y'all. So let me tell you about my weekend before I get to talk about the good stuff. So Friday, my job had a little party for all of the caregivers and all of the clients and all of the people that work out of my office, and they made me a shirt. And I didn't know they had made me a shirt, and I posted that shirt. And the back of the shirt said, most likely out in the streets. If don't nobody know me, my job know me. That's why I love them. This is why I work from home. I work from home because if I worked in that office with the people, because I genuinely love, let me tell y'all something. I got a job that I genuinely love the people that I work with. I know everybody don't say that. Nobody can really say that. I can genuinely say I love the people I work with and they know me. And only people that would make a shirt for me that said that would be somebody that knew me. Always out in these streets. But anywho, we had that type of party. And the reason I work from home is because if I worked in office, I would bippity boppity boo from office to office to office and would not a soul in there get nothing done fooling with me. But from the party itself, all we did was laugh, giggle, crack jokes, talk trash. I was running down on everybody because I love being around everybody. So the first thing I do is run down on everybody and crack jokes. So if I was imagine being in there, man, listen, we wouldn't get nothing done. Anywho, I love my job. So that's why I work from home, because I already know any office I work from, I'm gonna spread my Christmas cheer year round. Because y'all know I love Christmas. Christmas is coming. Y'all keep on talking about you forgot about Thanksgiving. Halloween ain't even here. I don't do Halloween. Halloween is for the kids. Okay. And my grandmom said it was always the devil's holiday. So there's that. Sorry, not sorry. Anywho, moving along. Um, so Saturday, I get up and I do the breast cancer walk. Now the people always come up, show up, and show out for the breast cancer walk, and I appreciate that for my city. So I already knew that I had a long day ahead of me of events to follow. On top of my events that I had going on, what was going on in the nation was the No Kings March. So the No Kings March is against the man that's supposedly in charge. Meanwhile, while all of that's going on, he done stopped all y'all food stamp benefits. I don't get food stamps. I wish I could, but I know what it's like to have to need those food stamps for all the young mothers that's struggling and everything. And we're gonna get into ways for y'all. We're gonna talk about that also tonight. We're gonna get into ways of trying to figure out how we can get y'all some assistance and help uh in the wake of not being able to get your food stamps. You're gonna have to utilize the food stamps. We're gonna have to come together as a community. In the meantime, while he's cutting off food stamp benefits, he's also tearing down the east wing of the White House, which is against the law, because you have to have Congress approval to do any type of anything to the people's house. Because see, that's what he's not understanding. That is the people's house. He is breaking every law known to man at this point in time. So it's making the world think that we are clowns. Number one, we are unlaw abiding citizens because our leader is unlaw abiding. So we as a people have to move different to show people that this is not how we actually move. We have to come together. That's number one. But I told y'all all of this was coming. He talking about building a $250 million ballroom so he got Diddy parties. Because that's all they've been talking about is Diddy parties. It's been all kinds of sexual innuendos and all these parties and stuff coming out. See, I know y'all don't keep up on the news and stuff, but I do. So y'all know I'm going to bring it to y'all raw and uncut. They talking about having Diddy parties in this ballroom. That's why they want the ballroom. In the people's house. Really? Come on, sir. You got to be kidding me. Anyway, while I was at the breast cancer walk, also there, and I'm sorry, while I went home to get ready to go to the game, CE, let's talk about it. There is a player, number 77, on CD East's tie, who tried to break bones. And my question is, he genuinely was trying to hurt and break bones during the game. Were there any repercussions against this young man? But see, then here's the thing, y'all. What y'all don't know is there was also some type of parade going on in Mechanicsburg, Cumberland County. And there were KKK women handing out cards to kids to recruit for the KKK. Now, I told y'all 2 years ago on this here live in my basement, before I got into this fancy studio, that they all around us. Their camps is built all around us. Because we live in the city of Harrisburg that's predominantly black, don't think for 1 minute that the KKK and them Proud Boys ain't surrounding us, because they are. And again, that player's number was 77 and there was no repercussions. This is as bad as the book. You know what? I ain't gonna talk about the spitting in the face at the beginning of the NFL season, but with that goes to show this is where we're at. This is where we're at with it. When there's no repercussions or consequences behind your actions, this is where we're at. So as y'all can see, they think it's okay. What is he on? You're saying he's not on CD. What side was he on? Oh, okay. So just CD, not East. Okay, sorry. My apologies. It's just regular CD. So, I mean, we have heard the racist acts that have happened over in CD. This isn't the first time. But my thing is, when are there going to be repercussions and consequences? So again, like I said, when I was in my basement, I was telling y'all how the Proud Boys and the KKK are surrounding us, how they are trying to recruit, how they are retraining. They are training for what they want to do to us as a people. All kinds of acts are happening against us singularly that y'all don't even know about, that they don't talk about in the media because they don't want y'all to know how they playing against us right now. But it's ugly. It's real ugly. And y'all could act like it can't happen. This ain't happening. We're going back to Handmaid's Tales times right before your eyes, and y'all acting like it ain't gonna happen, and it is happening. So this is what's going on to y'all right now. So y'all can come on and quit acting like that. Be on point. Stay on swivel. This is why we have to come together as a community, as a people, because we're the only community and people that don't, and they expect us not to. But in the situation that we're in, we have no other choice. Now, mind you, there are going to be those that are not going to be on our side that are our own. We get that. We understand that. But the mass majority of us got us. So please stay on swivel when it comes to this type of stuff. If y'all see any of these cards coming to y'all children, make sure y'all let us somebody else know. Let the adults know. If the kids, listen, nieces and nephews, because I got a lot of nieces and nephews that watch me. If anybody approaches y'all, please let one of y'all adults know. Let one of the aunties, one of the uncles know. Just make sure that somebody knows what's going on, because we never know what might happen to our folks. And the way that they're recruiting, we have to be. And then they had the nerve at this No Kings March. If y'all watched videos, the newscast, they were crying. This isn't what we voted for. He told y'all what he was going to do. What you mean? That's what y'all get. I couldn't stop laughing. Because, see, the thing is, they think they was going to break us down and have us in tears. Absolutely not. We've been struggling all our lives. We know what the struggle's about. Our people have been struggling. Every generation of people that we've ever had has struggled. Ain't never not been a struggle for us. So with that being said, what we crying about? We still struggling the same way we've been struggling. See, it's affecting more them than it is affecting us, because we used to it. They not used to it. So that's where the problems coming into play. They feel some type of way. They getting ate up by the system. And see, they need the government open, but they also needed to stay closed. It's two sides to the sword. They needed to stay closed because they don't want those Epstein files to come out, because all them people that's behind it, hello, y'all leader and all his crew, recruits and homies, and all the people he put in places is in them files. So that has to stay smoke screen. So he throws all this other stuff off on us with the government shutdown. Now, this is our fault. This is all supposed to be the Democrats' fault. The whole shutdown is everybody's fault but the person in charge. Now, mind y'all, this is the second government shutdown under his watch. The last one lasted 40 days. How long is this one going to last? Y'all got to use your brains and start thinking. But this is a reason why I'm pushing this politics thing so hard and heavy the way that I am, because I want our people to win, and I need us to get out and vote and make sure that we got a smidgen of a voice. Because if we don't vote, they're going to take it anyway. So there's that. So they had the nerve to be on TV crying about it. They might as well go on and get over it. And I want everybody to be all right. But the main person I want to be all right is I want me to be all right. And what we have to do as a people, as far as our mental goes, is we have to work on ourselves to make sure our mentals is okay. I work on me internally on a daily basis to keep my mental in a safe space, because I already know I could flip off at any given time. And after all of this election stuff is over and I have all my special guests, after the election, after November the 4th, I have a mental health specialist that's coming to talk to us, and that's going to help us work through some of the things that we could, because we're going to have PTSD after all of this shit. Everybody going to need therapy after all of this. Not just one person, the whole entire United States of America. Anybody with common sense that knows what's going on right now is going to need some type of therapy, because this is giving me PTSD real bad. Anyway, on my recap, he knows what's going on. I can't. He's doing the banana and tailpipe with us, and I can't get past that, and it's killing me. But anyway, the sneaker ball was beautiful as always. Everybody that came from the sneaker ball winded up meeting me where we were at. So I told y'all I went to the breast cancer walk, and then I slid through the game real quick. Y'all showed off at the game, of course. Y'all can never not show off amongst each other. It's sad. I'm not even going to talk about that. Went home, caught myself laying down real quick to get a quick power nap in before the festivities to go to the sneaker ball and get to the XL. By the time I woke up, it was time to go to the XL. So yeah, there's that. So I threw my glad rags on and bippity boppity boot onto the XL. And can I say, y'all did that? R&B Sundays brothers, Rich Crumb, DJ Cashmere, Conrad, Handles and Samson, Music Man. Y'all did that. When I tell y'all we was in there 1,000 plus deep, wasn't no drama, wasn't no madness. Everybody was having a good time. We danced around there. Well, let me stop saying we. I danced around there and giggled and cackled and giggled. It was a few balled up, ugly faces. Child, we peeped y'all. We kept on laughing right on past y'all. Y'all need to stop putting that makeup on and having y'all faces balled up. I'm telling y'all that shit ain't a good look. When y'all got that makeup and them eyelashes on and y'all got y'all faces scrunched up, y'all look like the Grinch. I'm just telling y'all what I know. This is what y'all look like. Y'all got to stop that coming out in public. But anywho, outside of y'all five that had y'all faces balled up and was looking like the Grinch, we had a good damn time. Everybody had a good time. The old folks, the young folks, all the folks, and we brought everybody together and went, listen. They be finna run it back again. I hope it ain't between the dates of, let me tell y'all what dates Shantae ain't gonna be here. So y'all can't do shit for these dates. Listen to the dates, y'all. I won't be here November 26th through December the 6th. Don't do shit in this city until I get back. Okay? And y'all already done got stuff lined up. Y'all got an all black affair. And I hate y'all for that. Anywho, those are the dates I won't be here. But if y'all run that back, that R&B Saturday back, I'm gonna be there. We're gonna be there again with bells on. So apparently there was a bunch of complaints about the R&B part of it. Okay. Here's the thing. Only our DJs actually know what we like, if we being honest. Because Cashmere was tore that stage up. Cashmere tore that stage up. Now, Baca had two other events that he had to work that day. Baca got to the club late. We had Claxton on the wheels of steel. Claxton didn't realize our R&B and his R&B ain't the same R&Bs. We get that. He don't know us. We a small city. I keep trying to remind y'all, we all know each other. We all know what we like. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Y'all know I'm tripping. Lee. I enjoy your lives when I get time. Don't laugh. Keep it up. I support you. You sister. Thank you. I appreciate you, Gunna. Thank you so much. Anywho, I'm sorry. Anywho, we came together in that XL and we laughed, giggled, and drank and all of that good stuff. Baca worked 2 shifts. He was tired. Claxton didn't want to get off the ones and twos anyway. Did y'all see him? He kept going and going and going. So it wasn't his fault that he didn't know his crowd. And it wasn't nobody else's fault that threw it, that knew that he didn't know us, because we all small city and all we wanted was R&B, because we was going hard on that R&B. And y'all was singing and everything. Y'all was killing me with the singing. But anyway, run that back. And Baca, this time, no 2 events prior to. You can't be double booking yourself, bro. You killing yourself with these double bookings. Okay? We know you the people's DJ, sir. And we all want you at every event. You can't be at every event. You're going to kill yourself at a young age, sir. We're not with that. We need you to party with us all the time. Okay? Okay. Now, with that being said, Baca, we had a good time. We appreciated everything that the fellas did for us, and we truly hope y'all run that back. I can't wait now. If they could collaborate and come together and do such a big, beautiful thing, why can't y'all? I got another special guest coming up in a couple of weeks too. I got one of the Marks from the Marks coming to promote their little parties and stuff. So it's going to be going down. I told y'all, I'm giving y'all everybody y'all wanted to see. I'm giving them to y'all. I'm bringing them to. But first and foremost, we got to deal with the selection stuff. That's what we're dealing with right now. So again, I love the collaboration. I love everybody that came together and got together and did their thing on this. So moving along, I have to go. Congratulations to the Joneses on the opening of the Slapbox downtown. I just got some shrimp and I just stopped at Men in the Kitchen and got us some egg rolls and some nuggets and some Brussels sprouts. So we in here eating good. It smells good. Everybody's enjoying themselves. We got full bellies. Ain't nobody angry. And I also have a special guest. So building our community. This is what it looks like. I don't most certainly, real quick, before I bring my special guest on and introduce, I most certainly want and I need a restaurant crawl. I need for all the restaurant heads to come together so we can hit Men in the Kitchen, the Slap Box, the Coda Rouge, the new Crawdaddies, every black owned restaurant we want to eat at. We want to do a restaurant crawl like y'all do them bar crawls. So I'm throwing that in the atmosphere because when you throw it in the atmosphere, God makes sure it happens. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So with no further ado, I have some special guests tonight. And my first special guest I want to introduce is the current sitting mayor of Steelton, looking to be reelected for Steelton. Now, her name is Miss Ciara Dent. I have supported Miss Dent since she's been elected as mayor, and I have never lived in Steelton. Let me put that out there. But I like her work. I like her voice. I like what she's been doing in our sit in Steelton. So with that being said, everybody, please welcome Miss Ciara Dent to What It Do Wednesday. And I also have something for you before you leave, so don't leave without getting it. So, Miss Dent, how are you? Nice. Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been wanting to get you guys on here to talk to you. So, you're running for re-election. No. Can you introduce yourself to the people?
My name is Ciara Dent. I am the mayor of Steelton. I've been the mayor of Steelton since 2022. So this is my fourth year and my reelection year.
How have you enjoyed being the mayor of Stilton?
I enjoy 90% of it.
We got that 10% of the people that just whoo.
That 10%, but no, it's definitely a humbling experience. I love to be able to serve people, be involved in my community, try to make the difference that I can make, things of that nature. So yeah,
So, question: who is running against you?
I am in a race with the former mayor of Steelton, Maria Marcinko. She was the mayor prior to me.
So, the previous mayor is currently running against you to try to get the seat back. We ain't letting that happen, ladies and gentlemen of Stilton. This is the best mayor y'all have had, and this is the only they can't hear you. Can we hear? Do a test in your mic.
Maybe, kind of, sort of.
Let me know if y'all can hear.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear it now, people?
Can they hear me? Can they hear me? We good? How we doing?
Give me. All right, all right, all right. I do apologize, everybody. They're saying that they couldn't hear you on there. So give me just a minute. Let me find out. Give me just a second. I'm gonna read. We're gonna start from scratch. How about that?
What's your name?
Now you can hear it. Sierra, can you introduce yourself? We have our new sitting mayor, not new, old sitting mayor, Miss Ciara Dent for Stilton's current sitting mayor for Stilton, who's running to be reelected for mayor of Stilton. Can you please introduce yourself because the people didn't hear you the first time?
Absolutely. My name is Ciara Dent. I am the current mayor for Stilton Borough, and I have been mayor since 2022.
Okay, so she is currently running against the former mayor of Stilton. We won't mention her name, not necessary, but what do you enjoy about being the mayor? And they want you to speak up.
Sure. Let me sit up. The best part for me is definitely engaging with the people, serving the people. I'm a servant at heart, so being able to just be in the community, help people when they're down, giving people hope in times where it's trying, where, there's challenges, things of that nature. That is my feel, being able to see someone else succeed and live a life that they may have not been able to live prior to that.
What's been your biggest challenge as a Stilton mayor?
I mean, I think a lot of it is educational because with me being a borough mayor is totally different than a city mayor. So a lot of people assume that since I have the title of mayor, that I have the same power as a mayor in the city would, but in the borough, it's the total opposite. So in the borough, it's mayor week and council heavy. Council are the ones that make the final decision. They're the ones that vote on everything, legislate things of that nature. My primary role is public safety, the police department, and really just being that voice of reason when it comes to council. If something comes across council and I feel as though it's not going to be best for the community, it's then my responsibility to make sure that council is aware of that and trying to influence the votes to go in the best way that works best for the community.
Right. And how's your relationship with your council? Is your council different from the council of Harrisburg City?
I mean, for the most part, we see eye to eye here and there. We have our challenges as well because, like I said, it's a power thing. I don't necessarily have the power to change what it is that they decide, but in the same sense, I also speak for the people. So there's times where they may feel as though something may be the best decision, or they may feel as though a certain route may be, the best way to go. But me knowing that is not the best, or feeling that is not the best, we can bump heads in that way as well. And also making sure that our council is aware and they are up to speed on everything that's going on within not just the borough, but the legislation part of it and also the public safety part of it. One of the
Right.
things I love to tell people is that public safety is a shared responsibility. It doesn't just fall on law enforcement. Everybody has a part in it. And when you have everyone on that same page to understand that, it makes it easier to put things in place so that public safety is the number one priority and we're doing what we can.
Right. I understand that. And with that, I have a couple of questions that came from constituents that I would like to ask to
Mhm.
see what your opinion is. So the first one is in regards to food security amid the federal disruption. The question is, given the current indefinite suspension of the SNAP benefits as a direct consequence of ongoing federal budget impasse, we all know about that. Please specify what strategic measures you intend to implement at the municipal level to address the resulting food scarcity, particularly among, vulnerable populations, so as to uphold the basic welfare and sustenance of your constituents under these extraordinary circumstances.
I actually love that question. One, because when I first came in office, one of the things that I noticed that most people notice if you live in Stillman, we don't have a grocery store. We're so small, we're so uniquely positioned that it's very hard and it's been almost impossible to get a grocery store to come into Stillman. Um, Instead of having four walls like most cities do, we have three, and then the river is our fourth wall. So they don't consider that us being in a place where we don't have the ability to get to another grocery store that may be closer. So you have like a Giant in Middletown. If you go out to Swidera Township, there's another Giant. There's Walmart. If you drive a little bit further, you can go into Harrisburg. There's another Giant. You can deposit. So they feel as though that we have access to all these different places. So it's very hard to get someone to come into Stillman. When I realized that and I took notice that we were actually considered a food desert because of that, one of the things that I put in place was the community garden. So we initiated the community garden in 2023, based off of funding from grants. It's totally free to our residents. It's been running since 2023. Residents have the ability to reserve the plots. They get to grow whatever they want. We have partnered with Penn State Extension. They come in, they help people grow different things. They teach them, they educate them, they show them how to use it from the garden to the plate, educational things, nutritional things. I'm just trying to give that healthy aspect when it comes to food because we don't have access to fresh foods. We have, like your Dollar Generals and things in that nature. So that's one aspect that we
Right.
have been hitting in regards to the food desert issue and the scarcity that we have with food. Recently, with the SNAP benefits, I actually this morning have been working with our coordinator in Steelton to put some things in place with the food pantries that we have because we are aware of what's going on with SNAP benefits and everyone not being able to get in, not knowing when that's going to happen. So we actually have a couple of food pantries that we're going to be doing food drives for, that we're going to hopefully give some monetary donations to so that we can strengthen them instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to create a whole new program when the programs are already there. So we're partnering with food pantries right now. We're partnering with Penn State Health again, and anyone that we can actually just join arms with instead of trying to do something that's going to take us forever to get these resources to the community. Since they're already there, we're going to be helping them in that way. So that's probably going to be the biggest and most impactful way that we're going to be able to help people when it comes to SNAP benefits and making sure that food is still getting into our communities and into the residents.
And that's wonderful, and I appreciate that. So um my response to that is, as soon as you know when you guys are doing what
Hmm.
you're doing, can you make sure you get it to me
Absolutely.
so I can let the people know in your area?
Yep.
I like to keep people aware of what's going on around us, because it's about to get
It is.
anybody that needs help, anybody that pays attention to my live. We are working as a crew around the city. There's a bunch of us that are coming together trying to find ways to make sure that you guys have a list of food banks, places that you can get food. We're trying to do food drives, anything that anyone has that they have extra of. Please let us know. Donations are being accepted. So, as you heard the mayor state, this is the time that we all have to come together and really try to figure it out. So, I do have another question for you. This one is in regards to emergency preparedness and intergovernmental coordination. So, in light of the escalating threats posed by potential acts of war, domestic terrorism, and of course the widespread civil unrest that we have going on, what is the emergency preparedness framework currently in place for your community, and to what extent is the framework coordinated with the county and state agencies, as well as relevant private and public stakeholders? And what reliable communication systems have been established to ensure the timely and accurate dissemination of critical information to the public in the event of such emergencies?
Well, with us being a small municipality in a borough, and actually, I think the city may even be the same way, but we all follow the same emergency prepared systems. We've all fall underneath Dauphin County. So, whatever the county is doing when it comes to an emergency, every municipality that falls within the county is doing the same exact thing. All the information will be the same. The only thing that normally changes is if there's like a location where they're telling people to go and things of that nature. I know with the restart of TMI coming up within the next couple of years, we're now in the process of working on that new evacuation process as well. And we'll be having conversations with the school district to make sure that we are doing what's needed to make sure that people know where they will go in the event of an emergency in regards to TMI and things of that nature. One of the things that we use in Steelton is an app called Savvy Citizen app. It's spelled SAVVY, Citizen app, and you can download it on your phone. And you get all kinds of notifications, anything that's going on in the borough, whether it's a meeting, whether a street is shut down, whether there's a sewer line issue, whatever the case is, we automatically send those notifications out. So residents can get it automatically to their phone without having to wonder or be on social media or anything like that.
That's great.
Mhm.
That is beautiful. And what was the name of that site again? Can you give it to me one more time?
Sure. Savvy Citizen.
Savvy Citizen.
Yep. It's an
So
app and you can download it right on your phone.
it's Savvy Citizen. It's an app you can download on your phone. I'm gonna get the information also posted on my page. That way we'll have it. So in case there's any type of emergency or anything, we checking our apps on our phone. Um, that's one of the best things. So my last question, and this is the big one.
Uh,
What's your plan for the next 4 years? What's your top three priorities?
My number one priority definitely is public safety right now. It has always been my priority. Unfortunately, it's been crazy 4 years. Um, I think that just has a lot to do with the condition of the nation itself. People are, I said it a couple weeks ago, people are losing it. People are literally
Absolutely.
going insane and snapping. And we have
That
to
mental
figure
health
out,
is
yeah,
real.
it is.
It is real. That's why I said
Mhm.
I'm working on basing something around my podcast with mental health. So have someone
It's
on
needed.
deck for people that need somebody to talk to,
Mhm.
because mental health is real.
It
And we
is.
all going through so much stuff right now that folks don't realize that we be mentally off balance until we realize we mentally off balance.
Absolutely. Usually until it's too late.
It's
That's usually when people
exactly
realize they've
right.
gone too far.
Right.
So, with public safety, I really want to figure out some ways that we can get some programming for our youth. I think that plays a key part into and keeping our kids off these streets, keeping them out of trouble. If you give a kid too much time on their hands, they're going to find some
That's the
type of trouble to
problem.
get into.
That's what's going on right now today. They have way too much time on their hands. They have
Hmm.
nothing to do. They have nowhere to go. And it's always something. You know
Hmm.
how that go.
Yep. You give them a phone or a laptop or a game, their minds are not being developed in the most positive ways right now. So we need to figure out a way to get these kids, number one, not just out of the house, but into some type of programming, some type of service, whether it's mentoring, whether it's, expanding programs like the Boys and Girls Club, whether it's after school programs, and different types of apprenticeships, things like that. Like we have to make sure that we're giving them another opportunity that's going to catch their eye and catch their attention so that they're not putting themselves in school or in trouble. But then another thing when it comes to public safety is we really have to have the conversation of how poverty affects public safety. And a lot
That's
of people don't understand
they
that.
don't get that that's the main reason for the
It's
trauma
the root
and
for me.
drama that we have. It's a ripple effect.
It is it's the root for me until someone can, tell me differently. But I think that because the majority of our communities are poverty stricken, we have people who are literally living in survival mode. And then what happens when you have a parent who is always trying to just survive, and that's all their kids are seeing. Their kids are growing up in survival tactics, and then they turn 18, they graduate hopefully, and
And they
then they're
start living
thrown
in
into this.
survival mode.
Exactly. They
Right.
get thrown into the real world and now they're trying to survive because they never really got those tools from their parents because their parents was trying to survive the whole time they were raising them. And then we wonder why, okay, well, what made this person do this or do that? They're trying to survive. And it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just that the reality is a lot of our people and a lot of the things that we're seeing is based
We've
off
been
of
programmed to
this.
try to survive.
Exactly.
Which is how I started off this live. What we've used to the struggle. We have been struggling for so long that we have become that struggle,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Hmm.
And our kids now have advanced the struggle. So when we were trying to survive, well, let me say for me, I was one of those moms that was in survival mode, but I was also trying to make sure that they had some positive things going on in their life at
Hmm.
the same time. So we have always not been in a survival type mode. So I get what you're saying. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild out here, especially when with public safety. If you don't address the public safety part of it, everything else starts to crumble. And we have to make sure, like I said earlier, everyone understands that it's a shared responsibility. And we can't just say, okay, well, where's this person or where's this organization? Why aren't they doing nothing? Sometimes we have to put the mirror on ourselves and say, okay, what have I done to make my community a little bit safer? What have I done to make sure that my kids aren't involved in, getting in trouble? What have I done to mentor, to volunteer? Whatever the case is, everybody has a role that they can play, no matter how big or small
And
you
that's
may
the
feel.
problem. We have a lot of adults that aren't playing their role.
No,
That's a problem. That's
we
a big
don't.
problem. And that's crazy because if we had more adults play the role, like move like we moved, then it would be a whole lot closer community. It would be a
Mhm,
lot more sad.
absolutely. And another thing I would say is, again, education, I think, is a huge part. I think the more we educate our people, the more knowledge they have, the more it shows them the type of power that they have. Because people think that just because you sit in a seat, you're the one that holds all the power. And I tell people, I've been saying this for the past 4 years, the only power I have is the power that the people give me. The people have at any moment the opportunity to take that power back from me and they can give it to somebody else. And that's just the way politics work. And
Absolutely.
while you're in that seat, you have to do what's best for the community. So you have to educate people to understand, well, I gave this person the power to do what's best for me and my family and my community. And if that person's not doing it, then we need to start looking some other places. But a lot of people don't understand that. They feel as though, well, since you're in that seat, you have all the power and I don't have any. No, the power I have is borrowed. It's just
And you're
borrowed.
on
And you
borrowed
gave it to
time,
me.
which is
Yeah,
why we're here today, so we can get you a
absolutely.
little bit more borrowed
Just a little bit
time,
more borrowed time,
so
you
you can
know.
help do what you do.
Absolutely.
So we got two pieces. What's the third?
The third I would probably say is programming for sure. At the end of the day, we have to give the kids something. We can't keep making up excuses or asking the questions of why isn't this here or why we can't afford it. We have to get it. We have to
We
get
have to figure it
creative.
out.
We have to get we figure it out for everything else.
Everything
We
else.
have to figure out a way to make sure that these kids have somewhere to go and that we are pouring into this next generation because I don't want to be in politics for the rest of my life. Somebody has to come after me.
Listen,
Like
I don't
this
want to
ain't
be
it.
hollering and screaming about politics for the rest of my life.
This ain't
I
it.
ain't even in politics, and I'll be like, you okay? So let me just tell you this: my grandma, when she finally got the right to vote, I was raised by her, so she made it very clear to me. She was born in 1918.
Mm,
She taught me how her life was from 1918 to 1978.
that's crazy.
That was the worst time of her life.
I believe it.
That was her young life.
That's crazy.
My grandma told me she didn't start enjoying her life until she turned 67 years old
I can see that.
because of all the racism and the trials
Absolutely.
and the tribulations and
Yeah.
the drama and the fighting that they did for us as a people. So for me to live through all of that, be raised by a woman who went through all of that, and now see that my people don't even appreciate where we're at today.
Mhm.
This is why I do what I do, because they don't get it.
Yeah.
And we could go back to that at any given moment, which is what they're trying to do right now.
Absolutely. For sure. They're trying to get
So
us to not care about
each other.
what's going on in each other.
Yeah.
They feel as though that if they hit us with so much trauma, eventually we're going to succumb to it.
Yeah.
And we're going to just stop fighting. And that's when I have learned because I've been in many of moments, especially throughout these 4 years, because governing it's a lot.
It's a
You're
lot.
dealing with a lot of different people. I only deal with 6 to 7,000 people. So imagine someone with a bigger seat. But there's moments where the fighting does get exhausted and you feel like you don't want to fight no more. And it feels like you're fighting against the same people sometimes that you're trying to
Constantly.
help, you know?
Constantly.
But you have to lean into those moments of where it feels like the resistance is too much. You have to start leaning into those moments because usually when you resist in a way that they know you're not going to give up, eventually changes will come.
So yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. We're at a place now where it's time to change. We got to switch it up as a people. We have to come together as a group.
Mhm.
We have to let all that silliness go. These cliques got to go.
Absolutely.
The clique has to become one good gang,
Mhm.
as in one. And we got to work together to make it all happen and make it work. That's just
Absolutely.
how we. What if you could say anything to your constituents before you leave us today? What would you want to say?
I would say number one, get out and vote. Um, we know that our previous elections have not had good turnouts. Maybe 10%, 6,000 people and maybe 10%. That's horrible.
That's awful.
That's
With a 90,000 people, 90,000 people, 90,000. It's rounded up, of
Mhm.
course. It's 80 something,
Mhm.
but 90,000 people, y'all. Grasp that number. That's 5 digits. 90,000. Only 4 digits came out to vote.
Yeah.
Less than 10,000 of the
Yeah.
90. Y'all can't be doing that. Y'all can't be that busy. Y'all absolutely can't be that busy. 90,000
That's
people and
wild.
only 6,000 at the most voted in some places.
Absolutely.
How in all? How? Aunt Mary, you can't impair change that way. You ain't never lied. How? Where? 90,000 people, 6,000 votes.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is the 6,000 votes is split up amongst our people.
It's us. You know, they know how to put us against us, unfortunately.
Ooh, y'all, we need y'all to get out and vote just for no reason. If y'all ain't got nothing else to do, just vote, please. Come vote. We need y'all to vote. Y'all ain't doing nothing on November the 4th. Vote. Why not?
Shoot, even
And it
DR
ain't
doing
costing you
something.
nothing. And I give rides to the polls every vote. Every vote, I take 10 to 20 people to the polls. If you don't got to ride to the poll, call me. I'm coming to get you and I'm taking you. I don't have no problem with that. I don't care who you are. I can hate your guts. I will take you to the poll to vote. I will, because I want you to vote.
Absolutely, it's needed. It's
So
needed.
I want to thank you for joining What to Do Wednesday. I have another political figure coming to join us because she also needs to get in office.
Yeah.
I got Miss Judge Latasha Williams coming to join us because she needs to talk to the people too, because they playing games. I got some flyers and stuff I brought up here. I want to show the people that they playing games with us as far as that goes. So yeah. Anything else you want to say before I have Miss Tasha Williams?
No, just like I said, get out and vote, stay informed, look out for your community, look out for your neighbors.
She ain't here yet. Oh, I'm sorry. Natasha's not here yet. So go ahead and talk for a minute, Miss.
Yeah. We just need to make sure that we're looking out for our communities, making sure that we are looking out for one another, because we're definitely in trying times. We are in unprecedented times right now. And if we are not coming together as a community and as a village, they're going to start picking us off. They're going to do everything that they can to take away every access and every resource that they possibly can until we decide that enough is enough. So yeah, get out, vote. I'm available if you need me. I'm easy to find. Why do I think people don't vote? I think one of the biggest things that I've heard is I don't vote because it doesn't change anything. While I can understand the answer, it doesn't necessarily justify not voting. When it comes to voting, everything you do has politics in it, from where you go to school, the clothes you wear, the food you eat, the job you have, your license, your car, everything that you touch have politics inside of it. You might just not participate in or know that you're participating in politics, but you are. So why not let your voice be heard through your vote, so that when these things are being handled and these decisions are being made, at least your vote has the right person in the room. Your vote gives you voice in the rooms that you normally would not be in, and it gives the person that you vote for the ability to speak on your behalf in the rooms that you cannot be in. So yeah. Okay, I'm being interviewed by a ghost, y'all. 4 years. It's my 4th year. Oh, since pre-mayor. It's changed. It's busy. I still work a full-time job. A lot of people don't know that. The mayor in Steelton is considered a part-time position, so I still have to work a full-time job. So Monday through Friday, I'm working as a medical assistant until about 6:30 in the evening. And then I go home and I'm mom to 4 beautiful children who are probably watching as well. I have a son who's in college. I have 3 more who are still in middle school and elementary. So I'm also mom. And then in the midst of all of that, I'm doing mayor stuff and meetings and emails and proclamations, all the things that you can think of. So it's definitely made life a lot more busier, but it's a lot more fulfilling too. My kids get to see what it looks like to stand up for people. They get to see what it looks like to be in roles that they normally don't see people that look like them in roles. My daughter actually is at home right now working on her poster because she's running for vice president of student council. And I'm like, okay, sis, go ahead. My kids wouldn't have seen that stuff, but they see what their mom is doing. So they're doing things that they normally wouldn't. So yeah, it's changed a lot, but I want to change it for the world.
You're getting a lot of compliments.
I thank you.
Latasha's 2 minutes away.
Sure.
Latasha's 2 minutes away. Can you hear me now? All right. Latasha's 2 minutes away. I do apologize, everyone. Ciara, your people say you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Your people said thank you for walking the walk.
Thank you.
They said you giving us great information, and it says you're an excellent mayor.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying my best.
God bless
all
you.
I
You
can
getting
do.
the prayers and everything, girl.
Please,
I told you.
pray.
I told you.
Listen, we need a
Listen,
prayer. I love a good
listen.
prayer. Don't pray
I
against me, but pray
told
with me.
you. She said, I didn't know your role was part time. You thank you for your dedication to making a change. Great
Absolutely.
interview.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aunt Mary. That was from Aunt Mary.
Thank you, Aunt
Um,
Mary.
so while we're talking about it and all the changes and the differences, because we definitely seen a change in Stilton since you've been there, and
Good.
that's a fact. And thank you so
I
much for
appreciate
all
that.
of that. And the thing is we can tell you genuinely care about your people.
I do.
That's the thing.
I do.
Um,
And I care about all people.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
people don't people try to misconstrue a lot of things, especially, and it's unfortunate, but when they see usually a black or brown person in a seat, like I said, they try to make it seem like I'm like we are only pro black or we're only looking out for black people. It's like, no, I love being black. I am honored. I love the skin that I'm in. I love my black people. I love my community. But in the same sense, I also know that I speak for every person, no matter what you look like. So when I'm making decisions, when I'm in meetings, when I'm in these different types of rooms, I'm talking for everybody. I'm doing what's best for every single person, no matter what they look like. So
that's
she leading me
beautiful.
again.
The last thing I wanted to ask you before you exit out of our building, and I love you for this. Appreciate you so much for coming. And I told you I got something
Yes,
for you.
ma'am.
Um, what do you think our kids need the most as far as when it comes to us as a group, the adults?
I think they need love and they need attention. I think that our kids are doing things because they want to know that someone cares. So they act out. I have a 6-year old at home, and since he's the baby out of the four, he just does random stuff and I'll be like, why are you doing this? And most of the time it's just because he wants my attention. And a lot of kids, even as they grow older and they get into their teenage years, young adults, things, a lot of the time they're doing these things because they're looking for attention or they're seeking someone to show them that they're cared for. They
Right.
want to know that they mean something. And I think if we can even get back to a place of showing our kids that they're valuable and that they are, that they do mean something to us, I think that will help change the narrative as well and change the way that they see themselves. Because if a kid feels as though they don't care, no one cares about them, or they don't add value, of course they're gonna go out here and do all types of stuff because why not?
I think where we dropped the ball at as a group, as a community is I saw a lot of parents who were trying to work and survive and pay the
Absolutely.
bills and make sure the kids had
Yeah.
everything, but slipped on the time and
Hmm.
effort part.
Yeah, for sure.
And it wasn't done
Mm-mm, it's
purposely.
not
I
intentional.
don't want to say it was an
Mm-mm.
intentional act. It was just that folks, again, survival mode,
Absolutely.
trying to pay the bills, make sure everybody's okay.
Hmm.
And we have a lot of single parents out here that went through that.
Absolutely.
So it's like they think that we don't love them because we're working constantly or we're not there, but we love them. It's just we don't have the time to give them because we're single parents trying to make sure
Absolutely.
everything gets taken care of.
That is, I agree. As a single mom, I agree with that. I've had to pull myself back, not just within these 4 years. My oldest son is 18 now, so I've had to take steps back where I had to tell myself, like, all right, you need to sit down a little bit,
Yeah.
pull back. Maybe this year you don't need a second job for Christmas. Just do what you can do. Those moments, or where I started having doctor's appointments where they have their own days. So they'll get out of school early and we all go out and hang out, whatever. But I give them their individual time when I can. And those type of instances, it's hard, but we do have to make that effort and that sacrifice because our kids, they just want to know that they're loved. That's all.
So, question: have you and the Harrisburg City Mayor ever worked on any projects together?
We
And
haven't
you,
worked on any projects together. We have been in communications. We've dealt with different tragedies, unfortunately, because a lot of the kids that were killed last year, the majority of them lived in Stilton. So
yep,
we've had to have that communication
you right.
when that happened. So unfortunately, when Naraya, when she passed away, I got that phone call from Mayor Wanda to know that she was killed in the city. Antoine Byers, when he passed away, he was from Stillin. Marshall was from Stillin. We had Fleming was from Steelton, so a lot of the kids, unfortunately, that um, were part of Harrisburg's crime rate last year, they lived in
They
Steelton.
lived in
So
Steelton.
while they got while the bodies were being tagged on to Harrisburg, the hurt and the pain and the trauma was being passed through to Stillman because that's where their families were. So we had to figure out ways to support these families and to stand with our community, even though it did not happen there, because at the end of the day, it still hurt us. So we've definitely had to partner on those type of situations. I would love to eventually partner with the city because I think that knowing that our kids are going into the city, knowing that they're going back and forth, it's only a hop, skip, and jump to get into the city. Knowing that they have the access to get into all these different municipalities, we have to come together intergovernmentally as well to
You're right.
figure out a way to make sure kids are safe no matter where they are. And that's going to have to happen on an elected official level. And also, just in regards to communities and organizations coming together and saying, okay, what can we do to make sure that every community within this district or within this region is safe for our kids to go to?
Right. All right. Well, again, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
You're so
Our
welcome.
good
Thank you for
judge
having
has
me.
joined us, so we can ready to
Yes.
get started with this because this is while while your position is very
I
important,
get it.
Latasha's position is also
Very
super
important.
important,
Very
and
important.
they're sending a narrative to the people that is untrue, and we have to stop that
You
today.
know how
We're
they
going to
do.
nip that in the bud
And we
today.
shall.
So thank you so much,
Thank you.
Ciara,
I
for
appreciate
joining
you.
us.
Yes, ma'am.
And again, I got something for you. So if you wait over there for me
Absolutely.
while I switch you and
Let's
Tasha
swap
out,
out.
I will make sure I get you your little gift before you leave me.
Thank you.
Come on, Miss Tasha. You late. You gotta be ready now. Mm-mm. Not my fault. Come on. Switch it up.
Man.
All right.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce y'all to Miss Latasha Williams. Miss Williams is running for the judge of Dauphin County. Um, First, I want you to introduce yourself. Now, see, here's the thing. I have questions for the mayors.
okay.
I have no questions for the judges, but we have information that you need to let the people know as far as the lies. I have my flyer I'm going to grab to show the people, and I have some other things that I want the people to know, but I need you to make sure you let the people know the propaganda and the BS that they've been spreading as far as this vote goes for these judges, you and Katie. Okay?
Yes.
So first I would like to introduce you. And then, second, after I introduce you, what I'm going to do is give you the floor to let the people know what you're striving for, what you're looking for. And after that, we'll go in and have a conversation and see what anybody else wants to
Okay.
ask. Okay.
That
Does
sounds
that sound
good.
like a plan for you?
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right. And go right ahead.
Okay. Well, first, pardon my tardiness.
That's okay. We're always late.
I
You
know.
know that.
Exactly. And sure. Thank you. Thank you. Love it. Thank you so much for having me, Shantae. I first want to say your studio is amazing. I'm just so proud of you. This is very, very awesome. As you stated, I am Latasha Williams, and I'm running to be your next Dauphin County judge on our Court of Common Pleas. And the Court of Common Pleas is a very important court, and we'll probably talk about that in a little bit. But just to give you a little bit of background about who I am, I have been a resident of Dauphin County for almost 20 years now. I came here from Philadelphia. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C. And what brought me to the mid state was a job, and that was at our state capitol, where I was working for then the late state representative Harold James. And I met him in Philadelphia. And I met him because I was doing a lot of work helping people wrongly convicted. That is one of my passions, um, because, any day that an innocent person spends in prison is not justice. And so that's kind of where I got my start in the legal field.
and most of my cases were out of Philadelphia. And so Rep. James saw the work that I was doing, was very impressed by it, and said, "Hey, I want you to come and work for me in Harrisburg." And so that's how I got to Harrisburg, and that was way back in 2007. And I've been here ever since. From there, I continued my work helping people wrongly convicted and decided that I wanted to elevate my service. And one thing that I was noticing in being an advocate was that it was hard to find people who were willing to take on the cases pro bono. So these would be attorneys who I would ask to take on the cases for free. Now that I am an attorney, I can understand clearly why that was such a difficult thing. And so I would advocate for the client. I would look for attorneys because at the time I was not yet an attorney. I would look for attorneys to represent them. I would help their families fundraise. We would do trips. We would have bowling parties. And this was to raise money so that we could pay the attorneys to get their cases back into court. Then I came up with this idea and I said, well, you know what? Why don't I go to law school? And so that I don't have to search for an attorney to represent these individuals, I can represent them myself. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to pay my bills, but I'll figure that out. So, what I said was, I'll take a second love that I have, which is cosmetology, beauty, makeup, and I'll use that to pay for my bills. So, while I was getting ready for law school, I enrolled in beauty school. So I went to Empire right here in Harrisburg, and I met a lot of great people from classmates to teachers, and we're still friends to this very day. So I was going to Empire School at night, still working at the Capitol during the day, got my cosmetology license. And then when I completed cosmetology school, I entered into law school. So that's kind of the beginnings of my story as far as how I got to Harrisburg and how I'm still here in Harrisburg. The rest is pretty much history. After law school, I started working in York County for a judge, serving as her law clerk. And so I would do all of her writing and her research. From there, I went to the York County District Attorney's Office, and that took a lot of people by surprise. I think because of my wrongful conviction advocacy, they assumed that I would immediately become a defense attorney. But I thought that being a prosecutor was equally as important, if not more important, because it allowed me to see just how the other side works to get a better understanding of why we have wrongful convictions in the first place. And it also gave me an opportunity to ensure justice for victims because there are many victims of some very serious crimes. And that was very important to me as well. And so that was my first job as a practicing attorney. I prosecuted cases in York County, and my conviction rate is 100%, which I think is what helps make me an effective attorney. But we'll talk about my effectiveness later. And then from there, I prosecuted for a short time in Franklin County. From there, I clerked, but this time for a judge in the appellate courts. And then from there, I opened up Williams Law Group. So we are a very small uh, law firm. We are situated in Uptown Harrisburg, right off of Front and Radnor. And Uptown Harrisburg has a special place in my heart. I love all of Harrisburg. Let's just get that clear.
We love all Harrisburg, but we
let's get-
particular to one.
We are particular to Uptown.
We are particular to Uptown.
And Uptown was where I first lived. When I first moved out here, I was on Minnick Street, then I was on Woodbine Street. And I don't know if you saw my commercial. I have a commercial that plays on ABC talking about my candidacy and how I'm running on a platform of the gun crisis that's going on in the city that's disproportionately affecting our young residents. And so we shot the video at 4th and Woodbine. And for one, we've had some very serious incidents happen right there at 4th and Woodbine. And then I also used to live on Woodbine Street for several years. So that's a little bit about me. And for those of you who don't know, this is my third run for a seat on the Court of Common Pleas. I first ran in 21. I ran again in 2023 and now again in 2025, which just shows you how serious I am about this, how passionate I am.
We need to get you in there this time. This is not a game. This is not play time or none of that. So I have these flyers. So there are some other flyers that were given out that were crap. Now these are the good ones. Excuse me. These ones tell us who we should be voting for as far as the Democratic election goes. The reason why I'm pointing out these votes and why it's so important to get you in this seat is because if we retain, ladies and gentlemen, hear me out. If we stay with what we have, Chardo, Chardo. Let's talk about it because y'all know I ain't got no problem with it. Chardo. I don't have any charges. I live a legal life. I don't give a shit about Chardo. Okay, he has been and continues to be. Just like the leader in charge that we have right now that breaks the rules and the laws, he does the same thing because he's in charge of the DA's office, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know we've been through enough instances and problems with this man. The last place we want him is on the bench, okay? All I'm gonna keep on saying is, how many of y'all want to go down there and vote for Chardo? If you don't vote, that's what you're doing. All of y'all that have been in that DA's and been in the courtrooms down there, all of y'all that have sat in front of those judges, Chardo's going to be one of those judges if you don't vote. Remember what happened when y'all went against him? Now, mind y'all, let's be real. He has some friends in the neighborhood that he looks out very, very well for. We need to make sure Latasha and Katie make it back to their seats. So with that being said, what's your plan once you get to your seat? Because we're going to get you to the seat if God gives us the strength for these people, these 90,000 people that live in our county to get up off their lazy behinds and vote. We can maybe get some real judges in place that will really be about the people. Now, I'm sorry, Miss Tasha.
Okay.
This is a very passionate.
Oh.
I have beef with Chardo. I'm sorry. This has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with anybody else. But my personal beef has to do with the way he's treated my people over the years that I've lived my entire life in this city of Harrisburg. He's one of the reasons why I left the city of Harrisburg. Him and a couple of other mob members. But go ahead.
Well, you touched on several things. So let's first talk about you saying that, the tens of thousands of people who are in Dauphin County. That's the first important piece, I think, because there's so many people who they just heard what you said, but there's something that doesn't resonate that they can vote in this race for the seat that I'm running for, because they just don't sometimes make the connection that they can still vote for me even though they live outside of the city of Harrisburg.
Yeah, this ain't a city thing. This is a county thing, folks. Latasha's different. So when voting for Latasha Williams, we all can vote for Latasha Williams in Dauphin County. I've given you my vote every single time.
Thank you.
I've let you know I've voted for you every single time because I genuinely know what would happen if we were able to get some of our own people in those positions. Because I've also, again, I will state, I don't give a shit about Chardo, and I've watched how he works in the office that he's currently in, and I already know what that's going to happen if he makes it to a bench. We're doomed. Oh yeah, Graham Hendricks out of here. On the back of here, we have John Harris Jr. for coroner for Dauphin County. So yes, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. And then I know you had said, if people get off their lazy butts, I think there probably is some laziness, but I also think there's just hopelessness. Like,
well, in this
people are
last
very
election,
hopeless.
in the last primary election, and in the last election, big election, and those two, and me talking to the people, because I get out here during every election. I talk to the people, I have conversations with the people. In the last primary election in the city, I found that people didn't want to vote because they weren't happy with who was running, and they didn't like what the things that the people were doing. In the last big election, it's the same type of situation. People felt like, why vote when they know he's going to win and he's going to do what he's going to do? But if they had really gotten out and voted, we may have been able to avoid all of this. But because they did not, we weren't able to avoid this. So now here we sit. And we're in this climate, and now we're fighting to get folks, 90,000 people, 90,000. It's 80 some odd thousand people. If y'all want a correct number, it's 80 something thousand people. But I rounded up, and when you round it up, they said to the highest number, it's 90,000 people in the called Dauphin County, and only 6,000, and I rounded that up, came out to vote. So technically, it was 5,000 and something that technically really voted. That's sad. That's everybody I know.
Yeah, it is sad, especially when you know our history and know what our ancestors went through so that we could freely exercise that right to vote. So I mean, that's the driving force behind me voting I voted every election since I was 18 years old. So this election again is very important because these judgeships have a 10-year term. So once the judge is elected, they will serve for 10 years and then they will be up for retention, not re-election,
Right.
which means the question on the ballot will read, do you want to retain Judge so and so for another 10 years? And so, when you think back to, your own life, maybe even grandparents or now grandchildren, and you think that there are judges who have literally been on the bench throughout the entirety of your life, a good portion of it, your grand's lives, and maybe even
these
your
are the
mother's
same
lives.
folks.
Yes.
We have been dealing with these same judges until they died. Literally. We have literally been dealing with these same judges. Judge Cherry, they used to say Judge Cherry so much. I used to hate hearing the word the cherry, even the fruit cherry. There was another judge that they hated. Rambo. Was it Rambo? What was it, y'all? It was another judge that they gave us when I tell y'all I hate it, we've been dealing with these same, we have to change the narrative. And we don't change the narrative. If you don't get out and vote, it does not change. Your children and your grandchildren and the same people are going to keep seeing these same judges for the same reasons. But see, y'all think it's just behind criminal stuff. It don't just be criminal. We talking domestic relations. We talking about anything PFAs. So y'all ain't happy about the way these cases is turning out. It's because of your judges. We have to do better.
100% agreed. And so you had some flyers here, and this is this blue one, or we'll start with this one. So Katie Kennedy McShane, she is a Democrat who is also running for Common Pleas judge. And hold it, I'm sorry. Okay. And so I'm number 1 on your ballot. Katie is number 2 on your ballot. And that's really where you want to focus your attention if you are interested in change. If you're not interested in change, either don't come out or vote for number 3 and number 4 in the ballot. And then the status quo will remain, and you'll continue to complain. And that will just be how things will continue to go. So just try something a little differently.
Absolutely.
Just give it a shot. Give us a shot. Give us a chance to be of service to you. I think it's very helpful to have a judge who, understands the people.
So piggybacking off of that, I have a question for you. What are the 3 main qualities you think are important for a judge to have?
Certainly integrity. And that is doing the right thing when no one is looking. Doing the right thing, even though it might be hard to do. And I mean, that is so critical. I would then say the ability to be impartial, meaning not showing favor or allegiance to one party over another, but truly being fair. And one thing that I always point out to people is that, the machine, so to speak, in this county, they're not familiar with who Latasha Williams is, because Latasha Williams did not come up professionally here in the county amongst the machine.
I'm so sick of this.
I was a prosecutor in York and Franklin counties. I was never a prosecutor here. I was never a public defender here. I was never a judicial law clerk here.
This is what I hate about
But
my
that's
city.
a good thing.
Can I say this?
Go for it.
This is what I hate about my city. We are so clicky. No new friends. No new friends. We need new friends because the old ones ain't working.
No, they're
No,
not.
for real. Like I used to be her. I didn't. You foreigners weren't getting it for me. That was what that was the foreigners weren't getting it
So
for
you
me.
told me go back to Philly, go
Yeah,
back to
take your ass
DC.
back to Philly. Go back. And I'm gonna tell you why. That started in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. New Yorkers
York.
started coming down here
Yep.
and stuff started happening,
Mhm.
and we started losing our folks. They brought that violence that we weren't used to. And that's where the the foreigners and all of that came in. But in the climate we're in today, in 2025, we have to let that go.
Mhm.
We need new people in place in these places. Ooh, I'm spitting
That's
clean across the room.
okay.
I'm excited. Lord, forgive me.
That's all right.
But listen, we need new people in new places to ensure that our people are taken care of, because right now we are not being taken care of. We are being slaughtered, we are being mistreated, and we are being jailed unnecessarily for long periods of time that
Mhm.
are not fair to us only because of the color of our skin. And that's just the facts.
Mhm. Connected to poverty. I was listening to Mayor Ciara while driving here, so I was hearing bits and pieces of what she was talking about, and she talked a lot about poverty and how we have to recognize how that's connected to everything that we see around us, and the poverty piece is why you see people languishing in Dauphin County Prison longer than they should.
Right.
They just don't have the resources
To
to
pay
have
bail.
another attorney who can maybe advocate, because the public defender's office, they are stretched. Um, they are stretched. There just simply are not enough resources. Sometimes there's an issue with bail. There are also a lot of people incarcerated because they have they bail is set and they can post the bail, they can afford to post it, but they have a probation or a parole violation and a
Yeah.
detainer that is holding them in place. And so I would like to see, now this would be something done legislatively and not from the bench, but I would like to see some reform with respect to detainers and how probation and parole detainers
Work
essentially prevent a person
from
from
being
getting
out.
out. Maybe there should be a second bail, particularly when now I'm talking about
Non-violent
non-violent, because some of y'all know y'all
crimes.
need to sit down in that corner for a little while.
Right. Because some of y'all
Because
don't know how to act. Some of y'all get out, and now here's the thing for me,
yes,
and I'm gonna say it, and a lot of people ain't gonna like it,
go for it.
but I don't give a shit. A lot of these violent criminals do get out on bail because they got their family and friends that bail them out like
Mhm.
they ain't did nothing violent, and them is the ones that should sit, and that's a fact. Trust me. And if there was one related to me, I would call him out, but I don't know none off the top of my head. But
Mhm.
I know some people that should not have been bailed out of jail, that were bailed out of jail, that turned around and did another violent crime.
Mhm.
So, and that makes us look bad.
Yeah, the bail system as we know it definitely needs reform in that regard.
Agreed.
But there are violent people who need to be detained and incarcerated um, until there's a disposition in their case.
It says, Judge Williams, shouldn't matter where you did your work, you did it and you are qualified. Well, we know that to be a fact. Well,
Yeah,
come on. We know a
and
lot of people are qualified to do the job. Don't mean
absolutely.
they're going to get the job.
But the reason why I mention that is because what I find in talking with my clients and what I observe is you have a lot of relationships between the bench and law enforcement, because everybody was a
Knows.
PD here or a DA here. So I'm
Exactly.
just pointing out that I was not. And so I
You're
think
not a
that
part of that clique.
I'm not a part of that clique. And so, if there's a matter before me, whether it's a PFA, something civil or criminal, and there's an officer of let's say a police officer or someone affiliated with the county agency, everyone's credibility is going to be the same in my eyes, and I wouldn't have this conscious or unconscious bias
Right,
because I
because I'm
worked around them
homies
for
or we
10.
play golf together or we was in the same cigar
Exactly.
clubs together. Yeah, it's definitely a buddy system. We here as a people, as the people, I know for a fact, as being one of the people who had to retain some lawyers in this area quite a few times for quite a few people. In saying that, we would have to go through the whole conversation. Well, who did they work with before? So they're cool with this one. They're cool with that one.
Mhm.
Oh, if we go before this one, we ain't gonna get no love. But if we go before this one, that's their friend. So we all know who all's good with each other. And retaining a lawyer in this city, we now have to go outside of the city to get someone to make sure that we get um a fair lawyer, like someone who's gonna look out for us because of this buddy system, these guys know each other and they make up their own rule behind closed doors and don't even take into consideration as to what I want.
Mm-hmm.
How many Democratic judges is it in Dauphin County?
0.
Oh, that's a big number. 0.
Hmm.
There are 0 Democratic judges in Dauphin County. We do not want to retain the current judges. We are voting in Latasha C. Williams and we are voting in Katie McShane. Katie Kennedy McShane. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Katie. Yeah, because we can't have this. This is how have you prepared yourself to handle the pro se litigants, and what does that look like?
So, and it really depends on the so just for a pro se litigant is someone who appears before the court without an attorney to represent them. And so it really would just depend on what division of the court we're in. There are certain instances where a person is entitled to an attorney and the court would appoint one for them. And even when a person is entitled to an attorney, you still have a right to represent yourself. And so I would make sure that if that were the case and a person were exercising that right to represent themselves, that they're doing so voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently, meaning that, no one's forced them to do that. No one's threatened them to want to represent themselves. And they would now, in doing that, a pro se litigant has to if they're doing it voluntarily, they have to understand that they're held to the same rules as a person who has counsel or to an attorney. So that's important to keep in mind as well.
Okay. All right, that's good to hear because the people, like one of the judges, Royce, that is on the bench right now, they said he's a good Republican. Yeah, he was one of the lawyers that we used to argue about trying to retain back in those days, those 90s,
to represent
to
people.
represent us
Mhm.
back in those 90s. And everybody would be like, well, they offering us this or they offering us that, because these lawyers had went and worked out these deals with these prosecutors because they all was together that night smoking cigars in the club.
Mm.
It was a lot of that.
See,
It
it's
was a
very
lot
tricky
of that.
because as a defense attorney, I want to have a good working relationship with the prosecutor, so that I can achieve hopefully a good outcome for the client. Because
When
most
you're dealing
places
with
plead.
fair prosecutors, I
Mhm.
agree with you. I feel like it should be good on both sides of the fence because it depends on what side. Because sometimes people find themselves on the side with the district attorney's office, depending on what has happened. I have been on the side with the district attorney's office where something has happened to a
As a
family member
victim.
as a victim,
Mhm.
and something has happened, and I'm on the district attorney's side, and I want this person prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But I want it to be in fairness.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I feel like drug dealers get more time. We just was having this conversation. Drug dealers get more time than pedophiles.
Well, I think it depends on. I have a client that's what's his sentence? 150 to 300 years.
Well,
And I am and I am his post-conviction counsel. And so he is someone that was looking to reverse his conviction. I've had clients with serious time. That's really tricky. I don't think you see consistent sentences in that area,
You
because
don't.
there are times where deals are made, and I don't know if the difference is when a person pleads guilty and they get something that seems lesser or unfair,
What I
but the
do.
people who go to trial that I know with sex crimes, they are getting football numbers.
Well, good. About time.
Mhm.
Because that just started. Trust me.
Mm.
I remember there was two separate cases. This was in like 01, 2001, 2002. Girl got molested, raped by a grown man. He was on trial at the same time as a guy who had got stopped on the highway, and they found like a couple pounds and some heroin and some other stuff in his car. So he had a bunch of drugs. And this guy had raped this girl, and there had been more than one girl. It was two girls that came forward and said that he had did it over a period of time, like 3 to 5 years. And this guy had got caught one time with all of these drugs. The guy that got caught with all the drugs got 30 years. The guy that did the rape got 7. And I was sitting there like, this ain't fair. I mean, I understand that he's poisoning his community with the
Mhm.
drugs, but this man is terrorizing his community and taking advantage of young people. I feel like he should have got the 30 and he should have got the 7. I feel like it should have been a reverse, but that's just me.
Mhm. Yeah, and the facts of every case are so different in terms of what that evidence looks like. How was the evidence in the sexual assault case? Were the young ladies going to make for good witnesses for whatever that may mean at a trial? Did they go to trial? Did they plead guilty?
I feel like to be honest with you, was a white man versus a black man. Uh-huh.
And there are studies that look at
Mhm.
the race of the offender as well as the race of the victim, and how all of that plays into sentencing.
That's crazy. That is crazy. So, Latasha, is there anything that you want the people to know that you feel is the most important thing that you would want to tell the people as far as coming out to vote for you and what your main goal is as far as this vote goes?
Yes. Well, just real quick, I didn't give you my third, so I
Oh, I'm
had said
sorry.
no,
Yes.
no, that's okay. We just
We
kind of
we
went off on.
we we just talking. I know we just
No,
talk.
I love it. We talked about integrity, being impartial, and being fair. And I think if I had to narrow it down to my top three, those would be my top three. And what does fairness look like? Um, Understanding the parties who appear before the court, being able to just kind of have that discernment to know, well, is what this person's saying, is this plausible? Is this implausible? Knowing what facts to believe, what facts to reject, and then applying the law accordingly, because the law doesn't change. The only thing that changes um, are the facts that come before the court, and every case is very different. It wouldn't be cookie cutter justice in my courtroom, whereas everything is just robotic and everyone. No, you have to look at the facts of each specific case. I'd say fairness. And then I would just say November 4th is right around the corner. Um, please come out. This is very important. We know it's happening on a national level. And, the way we see it, the courts truly are our last hope in terms of saving our democracy. Some of you have probably seen some of the untrue things that are being said about me and Katie McShane. Completely untrue. I've talked about my experience, um, and I didn't even like really get into it. But I've also taught constitutional law. I've been a high school Spanish teacher. I talked about my cosmetology career, but I also have worked with our senior citizens as a caregiver
Okay.
for a local company called Home Instead. And, having these different experiences, I think just shows you the level of compassion that I have and just the depth and breadth of my experience. And so, do you want that kind of experience? Or do you want someone who has literally been a prosecutor since the day they passed the bar exam and has served as a prosecutor for the last 31 years?
And spent his
If
entire
that's what
life throwing
you
people in
want,
jail.
have at it.
Yeah, because that's all he wants to do is put people in jail, and that's the fact. Listen, we already know what he's about. We as a people know what he's about, and we as a people don't like him, but we as a people have to come out and vote. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem that we face as a people. We don't come out and vote, and that's what's going to be the destruction of us as a people. Couple of things. Hopefully everybody comes together and comes out and votes for you.
Yeah, and bring someone with them.
And bring someone with you. We should be talking to our friends, our neighbors, and making sure that they're all voting. It's mandatory this go around, folks. Nothing is going to get done if we leave it the way it is. If we leave it the way it is, it's going to actually get worse, and we're really going to be in trouble. Our environment is under assassination. Y'all don't understand that part. I know it's a bit too big for y'all, but they don't care about that stuff. Like the people that they put in place, that they voted into office, if y'all haven't noticed, they're taking away things like FDA. That's the Food and Drug Administration. They check the foods to make sure they're okay. They make sure there's no poisons, toxins, anything like that in the food. They don't care if we eat poison. They could care less. They don't care if the atmosphere is being destroyed. They don't care if we're going to be able to breathe. They don't care if we set on fire. They don't care about the climate. They don't care about none of that. They don't care if the oceans dry up. They could care about none of that. All they worried about is their pockets. Period. We need Chardo out of the DA's office, and we definitely can't use him as no judge. That's a fact. We want to get you in that judge's seat. That is a fact. The ones that vote regularly have voted you in.
Yes, and I get closer. I did very well.
Every vote.
I get closer.
Hopefully this is the one.
Yes, the last one was just by 2,000 votes. So that tells you how every single vote matters. That might sound like a lot, but in talking about a countywide race,
where it's 90,000 people. Let's talk about that again.
It's
90,000 people and 2,000 votes. Come on, people. We have got to do better as a people.
So remember, just to reemphasize, if you live in Steelton, Lower Paxton, Susquehanna, Edgemont,
anywhere in Dauphin County,
anywhere in Dauphin County, Middletown is. I'm not running for magisterial district court. This is the downtown county courthouse. So just in case you need, I got a name drop so it resonates. Cherry, Judge Lewis, Judge Tully, Judge Morris, Judge Turgeon, all those, Judge Hoover, the late Judge Hoover, all that. We're talking 101 Market Street.
Fellas, y'all remember how y'all felt about Judge Turgeon? Y'all know who y'all is, fellas. Because see, me, I've been in the streets with the guys most of my life. So I got a bunch of brothers, my cousins. I've always been around the guys more than I've been around the girls. And no, I'm not one of those that slept with them and then was calling them my brother. No, I'm not one of those type situations.
My cousin.
Actually, these is my actual folks, and these is my actual folks. So they used to always come back from downtown. Ooh, Turgeon. Turgeon's a bitch. Yo, guess what Turgeon did? I was trying to remember what that other one was named. We've been living with these same judges our entire. I've been hearing Turgeon since I was 16 years old. I am 55. I am. How old is she?
Decades.
My point exactly. She was old dead. We need some new blood. Okay.
If we really want it, we can make that happen. The numbers are there. The numbers are
we
there.
Need
People
y'all to vote.
Registered. Y'all just have to come out and do it.
We have to vote. So, okay, I was supposed to have Mayor Wanda Williams on tonight, but she'll be joining us next Wednesday because she had the trunk and treat Halloween thing at Reservoir Park with the children tonight, and we got our dates all misconstrued. So she'll be here next Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, who all was expecting to see Mayor Wanda Williams. And I'll also have Miss Tina Nixon, who is running for Clerk of Courts. So this is all election. We got, let me run it back. We got to run it back real quick. I got to do a recap. We are voting for Miss Ciara Dent in Steelton Borough, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ciara Dent for mayor. Okay. We are voting Latasha C. Williams for Court of Common Pleas. We are voting Katie Kennedy McShane for Court of Common Pleas. We are voting John Harris Jr. for coroner and Miss Tina L. Nixon for clerk of courts. This is what we are voting. Now they have Antonio Carino on here for protonary, but I don't know him from a can of spray paint. So
I have to tell him to inbox you.
yes, tell him to introduce himself. It would be nice to know a person like me because
For
I
sure.
am the news outlet that will say what the people, because see what's going on right now. Let's talk about that. What's going on right now in the news outlets, ladies and gentlemen, is they are feeding you what they want y'all to know. They are not telling y'all the real deal, Holyfield. Details of what's really going on out here in this United of States, you do not really get. You are getting a sugar-coated version of what they want y'all to know because they control all the broadcasting networks. Look them up. They talked about it. This is why Jimmy Fallon was canceled. Because why? He said some things that they didn't like. I'm going to say what I want to say in this city about the things that are going wrong as far as the city, this state, the United States goes, and anything that I feel is wrong as far as it goes politically. And if you want to know what's really the truth, come here and talk to the people that come here and talk, because we're going to tell the truth and we're going to shame the devil, one of the two. And there's some other lies we're going to get out the way too next week when I get Miss Mayor back, because folks got so much to say. And my thing is, I got all these strong sisters running for things around me, and everybody got so much to say about these strong sisters, but y'all don't want to back these strong sisters. Once I keep telling the people, once you put the strong sisters in power as a playment, we start handling it. My question is, do you want somebody in office that's not going to look out for you at all? Or do you want somebody that's in office that may just look out for her own, but they us? So it trickles down the mountains to us. So what works for everybody? That's my question. That's all I want to know. What works for everybody? So with that being said, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
so much. And if anyone needs information, Latasha4countyjudge.com.
We do want to know where we can get some yard signs. I've seen that up and down the comments.
Great.
We need yard signs for all of Dauphin County.
Okay, I will post the address where they are on at the law office, and they are just outside where you can pick them up. So we'll get that posted. We also need people to knock on doors. I know it's not for everyone, but that will help get people to the polls to help know. There are people who forget that we have an election in Pennsylvania every single year, twice a year, every year. And so we have to remind them of that. And we are also taking people who want to volunteer to make phone calls so that we can touch as many voters as possible and get them out to the polls.
All right. So anybody want to volunteer to help with this whole situation that we got going on, because it's serious. It's real serious. For myself, I will be interviewing all election officials all the way up until November the 4th. I may even do a special Tuesday election live to see who wins, and hopefully the voters will come out. So we'll talk about that in the next couple of weeks. I gotta get with my team and see how they feel. I gotta feed them and see if they'll do something nice or do something nice for a little strange for a little bit of change. You already know. So we'll see how we work on that. But yeah, I got more politicians coming next week. We are trying to reach as many people as we possibly can. That is our whole. Thank you, Cuzzo. I love you. Appreciate that. That is our whole goal right now, is to reach as many voters that we possibly can, not just in Harrisburg, but in the United States of America. We need the people to come out and vote, period. Because that is the problem with our people all over. It's not just here. I pay attention. It's all over. Our people don't like to vote. And we the ones that fought the vote. Like, huh? Make it make sense. But one more thing before, thank you, Tasha. I appreciate you. So before I leave everybody, I just want to say two more things. I have these beautiful What It Do Wednesday shirts. I posted my link. I have more than just shirts. I have hoodies. I have other goodies coming out. I have a whole link with stuff. I have one for you.
From
for joining
oh
me
my God,
for my
thank
show. Thank you
you.
so
And pink
much.
is my favorite
Ladies and
color.
gentlemen, I have a favor to ask. Any and everyone who has ever purchased or gotten a What It Do Wednesday shirt, I need you to take a picture in your shirt and I need you to tag me in it and post it to this here Facebook or Instagram or TikTokity Tick, wherever we're friends at. Please post that shirt. I want to show the people that this is a movement. It just ain't a fad. Okay. So if you have a What It Do Wednesday shirt and you fully support me, please take a picture in it and send it to me or post it to my page so I can put it on our thingamajiggy. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. I look forward to Mayor Wanda Williams and Miss Tina L. Nixon. And you ladies, Miss Ciara Dent and Miss Latasha C. Williams, are always welcome to join the What It Do Wednesday show. And that's even after you ladies make it in office. If there's anything y'all want to talk about or any problems that we have that we need to address, y'all know I get down into the hood. In the hood, I go in the alleys and talk to the people. So,
As do I.
them is the people we need to talk to.
Yes.
We need to stay in the alleys with the crevice crawlers because them is the ones that touch down and know what's going on. So there's that. I'm gonna stay with my nose to the ground. So I love you, ladies. Thank you.
Love you more.
I truly appreciate both of you. And everybody, y'all have a good night. Thank you for joining me on What It Do Wednesday. Check my page for what's going on this weekend. It's a lot going on. Too many to talk about, and I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like cussing. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing the womb at 2201 Woodlawn Street. And if you bring someone new, and this is the legal version.
Yes. With attorney Jenny Chavis.
Yeah. So this is the legal version. If you have a business and you want to join the womb women with businesses, we're going to be at 2201. That's my alarm to cut y'all off. That's my alarm to say goodbye. Anyway, we're going to be at 2201 Woodlawn Street tomorrow night, starting at 6:00. Tonight it's wine and wings night at 2201 Woodlawn Street. And then we got a bunch of Halloween parties coming, but I'll talk about that. I'll give y'all another live at home or something in the basement because I'm getting the basement redone and I want to show the people. I got rid of a lot of my stuff. Y'all gonna bug out. But y'all have a don't all
we do have to downsize.
don't all no I got rid of my football stuff.
Oh
yeah, I'm divorced from football. Yeah, me and Jerry Jones is beefing and I want to fight him. Anywho, y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all next week. I will be back live again. I don't know to tell y'all what we doing Friday. I'm going to Lancaster. We got a comedy show in Lancaster, and then Slim from 112 is going to be at the same location. So I'm going to be in Lancaster on Friday, just for the record. And that's a party. And if y'all ain't doing nothing, please join me in Lancaster. I'll make sure I post everything. But other than that, we got a lot going on, and I'll talk about it later on. Thank you, ladies. And I will see everybody next week. Good night.